Hello, everyone. This is Nick right here. I'm on the phone with my dad currently. I just put this up right here. He's on the phone right now because he is in another area where I'm from. But this is my interview with my dad over the phone. I do apologize for the inconvenience, but it, this was the person who I wanted to interview with this Matters of Kinesiology 332. It's a lifespan motor development interview. And basically, Dad, as I just mentioned before, I'm just going to go down a couple questions in regards from your whole lifespan when it comes to your development and then what things are losing, such as going from puberty and then going from walking, etc. Basically, when you started young to now. Because, for instance, if I were to go in the question as um, how old were you when you began to walk? Like in your young life, what did your parents tell you that you started walking at what age?
I started walking at about a year old.
Okay. So it's at a year old, but why so?
As far as I can remember, I started walking right about 11, 12 months. And, well, obviously, I did crawl for a while, and which is really, really important in early development in regards to reading and that kind of stuff. But anyway, I started walking, and then from there on, then I started getting better and better, and then after a while, then normally, then you begin to walk faster and faster, and as you get older, then you begin to move faster, get your strength in your legs to be able to move rather easily as I was growing up as what I was told as an infant.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember you guys were telling me how young I was. I was about a little bit younger than that. It's just me personally. I'm kind of surprised that you were a little bit past closer to the year mark versus I was. That's pretty cool though.
Well, you didn't crawl. That's why. You just stood up and started. You just stood up and started walking and running. You didn't crawl.
I know. Yeah. I know it was a hassle, but so that's what in aligns when it comes to the development and the motor functionalities. That's what the interview is basically going to be about, because it's knowing your childhood. Because the other part I wanted to know, with all of this, because knowing with your work from you working from your young adult life to now, looking back, because here's a really good one for all of that. If you can go back and tell the younger self one piece of advice regarding physical development and maintaining health throughout the lifespan, what would it be? Like, what would you tell yourself in regards of from where you stand now to the younger version of you who's young, tip-top shape, a lot ahead to work with, and a lot of promising outcomes? What would you tell yourself? Like, what kind of advice or what kind of things to avoid per se?
Well, one of the things as I was growing up and running and stuff like that is that when I was a kid, we basically thought or believed that we were invincible, that we wouldn't never get hurt, that we could run, jump from trees, jump from roofs, and all this kind of stuff, and not sustain any injuries.
Right.
Which is the furthest thing from the truth, because we did jump from trees and we did jump from roofs and stuff like that, and we did injure our limbs, like our knees, our joints, or stuff like that. And then also from, early, we played football football and wrestling and all that kind of stuff. And as we got older, then we began to feel those injuries that we thought were no big deal began to creep up on us as far as our back, our hips, our knees, our ankles, and stuff like that. And this is from the time that we were actually kids. You know what I mean? Because we were playing, like I said, we were playing football, and then we'd play in the street, and we'd fall on the street, and we'd jump from the roof, and we actually did jump from roofs and stuff like that, jump over fences, and all this kind of stuff, and we would sustain bumps and bruises, but we thought, because we were young and healthy, that no long-term injuries or we wouldn't get any effects later in life from that. But we did. You know, we didn't realize it when we were doing it. So what I would say nowadays is, if I would have done some of the things that I did, like jumping on roofs and jumping over fences and doing all this crazy stuff, then I would not have done as much of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that is what maybe possibly, hurt my knees to where now I had a knee replacement, and then I still need knee surgery and all this other stuff. And maybe if I would have done a lot of that stuff, who knows? Maybe I wouldn't be going through what I'm going through now.
Yeah, there was a lot of things. I remember I was doing a lot of that stuff. I wasn't any better. I still recall that you were always telling me, well, one of the things is always playing the street, but knowing that being outdoors was better than anything, even though getting hurt was always that possibility.
Yeah, there's always a possibility as kids and stuff like that. We don't think about it, of how we're hurting ourselves until it's too late, and then later in life, it says, man, how come my knee hurts? How come my knee's stiff? Well, all the time you kept jumping off the roof or running in the streets, and we tell you to slow down and all that, and you wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
And so that, that's what happens,
Mm-hmm.
And then and that's something that lingers onto and then gets worse and gradually, deteriorates over the years.
Yeah. Okay. Because I remember growing up, and I remember watching you at one of the baseball parks, and you were doing a lot of sprints. You're always trying to stay healthy and trying to be well when it comes to your job. I don't remember how old I was, because I think this was at a time where you were in the. I was old enough to know that you were in the corrections, but I wasn't aware of that, because I remember you being a mechanic, but I vaguely remember that portion, and then you being a correction officer, because I can vaguely remember all the things when you were as a mechanic going to the academy and being a correction officer, and my only part is from that point to now. When did you started noticing like a difference in regards of your development, like your health and your performance? Like, when did you notice like that decline? Like, at what point?
Well, at what point is kind of like, as you're working as a correctional officer and stuff like that, you're moving about and doing your job duties. And one of the telltale signs is during that course of events, you're working and running, responding to alarms and climbing up and down stairs and stuff like that. And then when you begin to climb stairs or ladders and stuff like that, and you realize that you're not walking them or running down them as fast as you used to, and they begin to ache. You begin to get aches and pains and the joints. And so later in life to where I am right now, and I said, well, maybe if I would have done something a little bit different, during the time that I was working in the department, or if I had a different post or that kind of thing, and then I'd have to selfie or climb so many stairs or respond to alarms and stuff like that. But that's just the nature of the business, and then later on, those injuries or all that wear and tear on your body catches up to you, and it could be sometimes 5 or 10 years later that it catches up to you. It's kind of like opening and closing a door on a car. Eventually, it's going to wear out, and then something's going to break, either the hinge, the door handle, or the latch, because it gets worn out.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen right away. It just takes a matter of time, over a period of time, and then you finally realize, he says, man, my knees begin to hurt, and I can walk or climb up and down the stairs or climb like I used to, and this is just from wear and tear, and it's over like sometimes a 10, 15-year period, and then you finally realize, this is, man, I've been doing those stairs so much and running and all this kind of stuff, and man, 10 years later, it's just, man, I'm wearing out. My knees are wearing out. Your back starts hurting, and your calf muscles start tightening up more than normal, and you just can't do what you normally did over a long period of time, because it takes a toll, and it's wear and tear, and your joints, like I said, are taking the punishment and the beating that they wear out. So it's over a period of time, then you finally realize that it's something that's finally caught up to you, and then you realize, this is, man, maybe if I would have done this, maybe if I would have done that, maybe if I would have, who knows? But it's, over a period of time that repetitive motions and repetitive actions and stuff like that, that actually have worn out your limbs and your joints and your body, And then by then it's not too late, but then we start doing different things, more exercises and stuff like that, to try to reverse the injuries and the pains and stuff like that. So, but sometimes it's hard to really pinpoint or, say, well, when it actually happened, or when you actually begin to realize that, hey, over the last 15 years or 18 years or whatever, my body has really taken a beating. Sometimes you really can't put your finger on it, but your limbs and your body is telling you, that's what you did. It's what you did. You did too much of that. So your body sends you signals that, you can't do that anymore, or not as well as you used to.
Right.
So,
I'm just thinking of all of the years that you've done it, because I know you did 20 years, and within those, like, do you know, or did you ever notice when you were declining from that job? Do you know what year, give or take, or how old were you noticing, like, from when you started to, let's say, for example, halfway point, when did you notice, like, a decline in your performance, a decline in just your overall health, knowing that the current status you are working in, you felt physically things are going downhill, per se?
Yeah. Usually a telltale sign is when I was working over there, and I was exercising, I was running, and I was doing all kinds of stuff and eating right, and trying to stay healthy, because it's a job that demanded that. And what happens most of the time is that you feel something in your body, either your knee or a muscle in your back, a muscle in your hip, a muscle in your thigh, or you pull a muscle or something like that, and you, sometimes it's a pull, or sometimes it's a pop, or sometimes it's a twist, and then from that point on, for me it was a pop in my knee, and then from that point on it was just, and this is like 18 years later, after that I was working, once my knee popped, it never
And
that well,
okay.
and it just began to get worse.
So this was
So
2 years into the industry? 2 years in the correction
well,
office?
18 years into it.
Oh, 18 years into it. Wow.
Yeah, 18 years. So
Hmm.
after a long time, something happens to your body that it wears out. But what tells you that it's worn out is when something pops. You feel something that pop up like a bone or a hand or a muscle or something stretches
Yeah.
more than normal. Over hyperextends or something. And then from that point on, then it begins a downward spiral of not your overall health, but the overall health of that part in the body, which affects your entire body in regards to being able to, exercise more or exercise the way that you used to before, and you're unable to because that extremity is hindering that progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then now you begin to realize that it's time to, you begin to, your overall, not your overall health, but your overall health in regards to that knee or that shoulder or hand is, things have to change. You have to change either your job, your position, and that kind of stuff to try to heal that body, heal that part, and hopefully try to get it back up to 100%, and sometimes you never do recover that to 100%, and so then you just, and then when you can recover to 100% and you were running and that kind of stuff, and then when you can't run anymore, you can only walk, and so that, that affects your overall health because you're not doing as much as you were, forcing your body for cardio and getting a full total body workouts and all that kind of stuff. So then, it begins a somewhat of a little health decline. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Even for me, like right now, I have my days where I feel my whole body, not necessarily breaking down, but noticing like the wear and tear, the daily activities, the wear and tear, starting to take its toll on me, and just knowing that need to recover, need to rest, need to take it easy, or need to stretch. Always have tight
Right.
ankles, and just knowing that a long day is a long day, and I feel it. So that part I can acknowledge where you're coming from, knowing that you've been in the corrections for 20 years and knowing how much it's taking its toll on you physically. The other thing is, well, a follow-up question was in regards to that because you were in the corrections for 20 years. How many years were you in? How many years did you work as a mechanic?
18.
15?
18.
Oh, 18.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, with that being there, do you have a plan or like a routine that you're trying to figure out in regards of trying to maintain a good health or trying to stay active? Like, what is your current plan, or do you have a plan when it comes to trying to be healthy as best as possible, knowing that you have your limitations physically?
Well, currently I do have a plan, and currently I do implement that plan, and that begins from eating the right food as often as I can, avoiding food that tastes good but is bad for me,
Yeah.
and that is probably the hardest thing.
Yeah, being a
Because you
Mexican
wanna-
is tough.
Yeah, you want to eat good food that tastes good,
Yeah.
but it's actually bad for you.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the biggest things that I have to, come to grips with, is that I can't eat what I used to, what I like to eat, because my body is not gonna metabolize it like it was because I can't run or do all this other stuff. That it's not I'm not gonna be able to burn it
Right.
like when I was young. But as far as exercise, I get up and I do some exercise, and then I go walking, and then I was hitting the weights and exercising at the park and stuff like that, and so I have a plan to keep doing that, and hopefully able to increase and do more, because both my knees, my shoulders, and all that kind of stuff. If I sit down and say, well, I can't do nothing because my body hurts all the time, then that would be like I'm giving up on me, and then the deterioration of my body or whatever gonna get worse. So I have to keep working hard and force myself to do that exercise. Even though it does hurt, I do feel a lot better. You know what I mean? So that's a plan that I have to continue, even though it's rather painful at times. It's better for me and to do it.
Yeah.
And because the benefits are still there, as far as for cardio and strength and mobility. Then the worst thing for me to do is to do nothing. And so I have to keep moving. And so that's my plan that I implement on a daily basis now.
Yeah.
And also drinking, the right supplements, health supplements.
Yeah.
To help, your heart, your bones and joints and all this kind of stuff, and to help your body heal and just get better,
Yep.
even at any age.
Okay. Because with that being in place, knowing that you have that plan, my kind of curiosity, because knowing that you, not necessarily weight bearing, because you can do certain things, but you have that, it can kind of set you back a bit. Knowing that if you do weights, you can do it to an extent. If you do cardio, you can do it for an extent. Has the pull ever been a thought for you, knowing that you can do like pull exercises, or even just doing cardio in the pool, knowing that it's almost zero weight bearing? Has that ever came across your mind when it comes to that kind of a plan?
Well, actually, I did go to the pool. I was in the pool in the summer.
Oh, really?
And I was using the pool. I did go quite a few times when Gianna was here.
Oh, yeah?
And then I did go on my own to the pool. Because I am able to do more stuff, swim, and run in the water and that kind of stuff. Because swimming, you're going to be using muscles that you don't normally use when you do that.
Right.
And then so you're getting extension, full extension, and then also cardio on your entire body, not a portion of your body when you do like squats or push-ups and stuff like that. Where you're basically isolating certain muscle groups. When you're swimming, you're working on all the muscle groups, because it takes all the muscles in your body to swim.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I did use it, and it was beneficial, and it did help
Good.
quite a bit.
That's good.
So so if I get a chance, I'll do it again.
Okay. Sorry, it's just been a long day over here. It's a good thing to hear. Knowing that the plan that you have, and all that, being aware of what you need to implement for a good outcome, a good result. But that's most of the questions in regard to like the form that I have. But I want a good question is for me to you, when it comes to all from when you work in the corrections, when you work as a mechanic, Was there any point in time where you know that the route you were taking, you knew it was going to take a toll on you, or did you just look at that and said, you know what, it's gonna give you more rewards?
Well, when I was a mechanic, I knew that I had to get out of there
Yeah.
because so there are certain things that were gonna wear out faster than working in corrections.
Right.
And one of those was my hand,
Really.
because you're pulling and you're using your hands constantly to turn wrenches or do certain things to pick things up, and also there's always the danger of losing a digit in your hand or smashing your hand.
Oh.
You know.
Yeah.
And then also you're gonna wear out the cartilage in your wrist and that kind of stuff, your fingers, and you're gonna damage you won't be able to grip or do certain things with your hand. And then also having to get under things so you don't be squatting and climbing tractors, and so you're also working in awkward positions to get into confined spaces. So we always had to deal with that kind of stuff in that industry. And so I knew that I couldn't do. It was best for me not to stay in that industry any longer than I had already been there.
Right.
Because not only that, then you're also jeopardizing your hearing and your eyesight, and your overall health with cancer-causing chemicals and stuff like that. So then when I went into the Department of Corrections, then I knew then also that the injuries that could come, and also the wear and tear on the body was just as great, because we had to run to alarms, and our bodies were stone cold, and that's when most of the injuries used to occur, because we had to get up from whatever we were doing and start running, and our limbs were cold, tight, or whatever, and that's where we had a lot of the injuries as far as muscles, knees, torn tendons and stuff like that, because that's just the way it was. When it was time to respond, you had to respond because that was an emergency. But that was one of the worst things for our health, because we weren't warmed up.
Right.
And we weren't warmed up. We were cold. And then other things, that aspects was having to run from long distances in areas that were very, very uneven and full of potholes.
Yeah.
So you're running through an uneven field, and then also you're running through an area where you also have carrying equipment, like 20, 30 pounds of equipment around your belt and on your shoulders and all that kind of stuff. So that increases the weight bearing on your knees, your hips, your back, and all that kind of stuff. So it was always, a danger of getting injured from working there.
Yeah.
But that's why when we were working there, we were always exercising, weightlifting, running, in the gym, stretching, all the time. We were always working out and doing all that stuff because of what we had to do when we were inside the fence in the prison. So.
Yeah. That's a lot. I would have never thought injuries occurred during responding, knowing that you're, like you mentioned, you're cold, and more injuries are prone to happen. So that's pretty interesting right there. But thanks, Dad. Thank you, Dad, for allowing me to sit down with you and and have an interview with you when it comes to basically your lifespan and in your overall motor development from when you were young to now and all that. Greatly appreciate all of it and everything.
Okay, so are we done?
Yeah, pretty much we are. But I want to say no, just thank you though for allowing me to have an interview with you.
All right, not a problem.
Alrighty then. So I'll talk to
Okay.
you later. Okay.
Okay, Mel. I'll talk to you later.
Alright, Pop. Take care.
Bye.
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 So there you have it, people. Like I said, I do apologize for the inconvenience knowing that my dad's over the phone. He lives 2 hours away from me, and it's just me living over here in San Diego area, so we weren't able to do this in person. But I do appreciate you guys' time and hearing out the interview with my dad, with his young childhood to now and knowing what his plans are, as well as what things he wished he could have done, or what he would advise himself to do and not to do. But thank you guys for allowing to hear me out in my dad's interview. So you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.